my slips, my falls, my trials and tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The dark, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Okay, what's going on out there, guys? So, this is my review for The Rise of Skywalker. So, I'm going to just kind of break it down as best I can. As far as the visuals, the visual effects were amazing. Now, before I go there though, if you really want to, you can easily go and click on the little card up here. You can go straight to our reaction, and it's not any spoilers whatsoever, but it'll give you a clear-cut feeling or reaction of what I felt about the film. So you can definitely go and click that and check that right now. This is a non-spoiler review. I will be doing a full spoiler review and probably a spoiler discussion because there's a lot, and I mean a lot, to unpack. But going back to, again, the visual aesthetics of this, from the opening shot, what they do from the camera work, the visual aesthetic, the feeling, the tone, like they go for it. All the credit to J.J. Abrams to make this one of the most fully realized trilogies. That even though Rian Johnson, I loved what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi, visually and aesthetically, and just making it his own. Still, J.J., and I had to give it up to everybody that's working with this, Kathleen Kennedy and them, there was a blueprint somewhere, because what they were able to do with everything to make it fully come together, it had to have been fully realized like years back, because this just flowed naturally as far as the camera, as far as what they were doing with the usage of the Force. I think that this is probably the best they've used the Force on so many different levels. There was always levels of mystery or wondering what was going to happen. Towards the third act, there was something that was happening in this final battle that just really shook me, because they've never done this in a Star Wars movie before. On top of that, in the second act, there were certain things that Rian Johnson played with in The Last Jedi when it came to Kylo Ren and Rey, that they just go full tilt with in this one. And that's why I have to give credit where credit's due when it comes to JJ with this one. As far as the acting, I have to give credit where credit's due. Adam Driver in this one, this might be my favorite performance for him, because he, in the first one, you know, he's kind of like, you see the confliction all over him. The second one, he's just really messing with Rey the whole entire time. I don't even know what his prerogative is. And this one is a clearly defined prerogative and understanding of what his character is. He is a fully realized character through this whole entire arc. And it's like, the way that they close out all these characters fundamentally is just really amazing. But by far, he was one of my favorite performances. And of course, Daisy really just nails it, niche after niche after niche. They do so much more with her character in this one. They put her through so many more trials, not necessarily giving her, like, you know, physical exertions, more so like just an emotional, like, roller coaster from the beginning. I mean, honestly, from the beginning of the Force Awakens until now, she's been going on roller coasters, but there's just so many different strides that they do with things that we've questioned and answers they go into. The Daisy really just kind of nails, in my personal opinion. Another two characters I think that they nailed greatly. I think they did a great job with Poe Dameron and Finn. They finally gave them something to really do, to chew on. I mean, they gave Poe a little bit of certain things in The Last Jedi, but then it kind of was for no reason. And then with Finn, they kind of paired him with Rose the whole entire time. Not cutting Rose, because she does a pretty good job in this one. But one of the things with John Boyega, like, he can act, like, he is a good character. And they allow him to be an actual good character. He's still cheesy. He still has these moments. Him and Poe, they go back and forth every bromance. But there are things that they do with Finn and Poe that make them credible parts and solidified parts of this saga. And I loved what they did with it. And oh my gosh, Carrie Fisher. Oh my goodness. It was emotional. Like, I don't know how they did it, because the scenes that they, like JJ said it in an interview, that they were able to splice scenes together in a way that make this cohesively be such a natural, it was almost like they recorded it and she just filmed the whole entire parts that she was supposed to have. It was that seamless, and Carrie Fisher nails every single line. It was beautiful and it was heartfelt. There are moments of definitely weight that you kind of feel with her presence there, among so many more surprises that I cannot say. Lando Calrissian, your boy Billy D's back, and he was like, he never missed a step. They did a lot with C-3PO on an emotional level. I love what they did with C-3PO, and yeah, I can't say anything more about any other characters because I don't want to spoil anything. But as far as the story, this is the thing about the story that's going to be hard for certain factions of people that I'm going to be very honest with you. Some people are going to say, you know, they loved this, and this might be their favorite of all the different ones. There's some people that are going to be like, they love what Rian Johnson did and making it their own, making it something totally different and going a completely different direction. This one does all of that, and at the same time starts where and finishes where. And I can't really, I know that makes no sense. But as far as the overarching from the prequel all the way into this movie, they really do close all the different gaps that you wonder. I mean, there are things that they can do, yes, outside of the scope, but they really do close the story off very well. They take place on so many different planets and locations. They give you everything you wanted to understand about the First Order, like so many just answers that you had been wanting to know. They don't leave any unanswered questions. I mean, they do raise some more questions with certain things aesthetically, but nothing that would diminish certain aspects of it. Now, as far as me, there were certain things that they did with characters when it came to their relationships to each other and their connections to each other that really don't make a lot of sense certain times continuity-wise, and just kind of hold certain things. Specifically, there's some things that happen with Finn. Even though I love what they did with Finn in this one, it was towards the second and third act that I realized something, and I was like, almost crushed. I was like, but wait, what was he gonna do? What does that mean? Like, what happened? And then the turnaround of that, like, you know, the rivalry with Rey and Kylo was just phenomenal. Like, it was as amazing as Luke Skywalker's arc with Darth Vader, his father. Like, it really does cement their characters in the history and the lore of Star Wars universe. And even more so than that, like I said, like their utilization with Carrie Fisher in this one, they go and they do some things that I can't really build. I know I'm trying to talk around this. I'm just gonna give up. The movie itself, you're gonna love it. It's epic. It is spontaneous. There's a lot of cheese, a whole mile of cheese, Star Wars cheese, but not over the top cheese. The tone, sometimes it gets very dark. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of fights. There's a lot of things that are gonna legitimately break your heart on an emotional level because you tied yourself to these actual characters. But it's thrilling and it's hopeful and it's vigor, and it's one of my favorites, honestly, this year. And it to me makes this one of the best trilogies. I don't know what to give this as a number review just yet. I'm gonna reserve that until I watch it again. But when I think about the trilogy as a whole, this movie, for some reason, I don't know how, makes the trilogy for this specific era a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, I loved what JJ did with The Force Awakens. I love what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi. And I loved the fusion of the two in making this a overarching connection in the Star Wars lore. You will not be as disappointed on that aspect. Let me know what you guys think about the film in the comment section below. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe, because you do not want to miss the discussions that we're going to have, as well as the actual spoiler review that's going to be impending a little bit later on. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. We really ain't. Oh my gosh, I enjoyed it. Peace, guys.